I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to our Commissioners Board meeting for September the 15th. We are broadcasting live via Microsoft Teams live event, also on BCTV, as well as YouTube and Facebook Live. At this time, I'd like to ask each of you to stand, and we'll begin with a moment of silence, followed by a pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. This morning, we get to celebrate National Recovery Month. This is one of the events that I really look forward to each year. We have the Council on Chemical Abuse here with us this morning, along with a number of people that are celebrating recovery. And at this time, I'd like to recognize the Executive Director of the Berks County Council on Chemical Abuse, Stanley Papademetrio.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us here today. September, it's Recovery Month. We celebrate recovery because we know recovery happens, treatment works. And here, you're only going to hear my voice for a couple minutes here because I have two quick things to say. First of all, as always, thank you to the Commissioners on behalf of the Council on Chemical Abuse, our providers, and the people that we serve in Berks County, several of whom are sitting behind me here. It is not just your commitment to resources that allows Berks County to have a great infrastructure for substance use services, but it's also your moral support. I know recovery walks, conferences, gatherings, you show your support there. So it's not just a matter of a check being written, but that you're there with folks who are receiving services in an early recovery to show that you believe in them and that you want to see them get better. So thank you for that. The other quick thing I want to say before I have Yvonne come up here to start the program is just a quick introduction to my replacement, Kathy Knoll. She will be replacing me in December when I leave. And I have full confidence in her that replacing me will not be a hard task for her to do. The transition should go pretty well, given the amount of time we have. So we'll set up more formal meetings to sit down and speak with you all, but I just wanted to introduce her to you right now. So
Stan, you're not leaving, you're retiring.
I'm retiring.
Leaving sounds, what's that mean?
Okay.
He's retiring.
I didn't want to make some people think whatever. So I'm retiring, and I look forward to helping out with the opioid settlement even after retirement a little bit and getting that on track. And it's nothing but a great thing for the county, those funds that are available. But I think Kathy would just like to do a quick greeting, and then we'll give it over to Yvonne.
I just want to say thank you for your support. I look forward to meeting with each of you individually, and I look forward to working with you to continue the services we have for the people of Berks County. Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Kathy, and congratulations.
So now Yvonne Stroman, our community representative and our recovery specialist, if you will, for COCA will take over from here.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is just a beautiful morning, and it really is a beautiful day to be in recovery. So I am Yvonne Stroman for the purposes of our media. I'm the community program specialist at the Council on Chemical Abuse, but also a person in long-time recovery of 32 years. And it is just a pleasure and a joy to be before you once again. And just, I don't want to be here very long because there are some people who would like to express their gratitude as much as I do. But, you know, this is several years that we've been able to be before you, and just a heartfelt thank you for your support and for all that you do. And as Stan mentioned, you don't just do it by signing a check, but you're also visible to the community when we do our recovery walk, which is Saturday morning at 10 o'clock for those that are interested in joining us. And, you know, we have a beautiful time really just celebrating life, celebrating it to its fullness, and more importantly, celebrating it in recovery. Just very quickly, I want to share with you our pins. These pins really represent recovery and what it stands for, and the enrichment and the abundance thereof as it relates to living life to the fullest. And so, again, I just want to thank you for who you are and what you represent to Berks County and your support. So as I come up and share these pins with you, I want to call up Kayla from BCC. She's going to share a little bit about her experience and what it's like today for her. Thanks, Kayla.
Good morning. My name is Kayla Tanner. I am a year and 4 months sober as of now. So I guess just a little backlash on what I've come from. I have a history of abuse. I have a history of alcohol, and it didn't really work for me as much as I thought it was supposed to. I had, thinking that it was just going to be able to be sustainable, and I was going to be able to still abide by everyday civilian life things that I'm supposed to take care of. I have 2 children, one that is 8 and one that is 4. And through all of this, I had lost them for 2.5 years. And from coming from that, I got 2 DUIs as well after I lost my children. And then I had gotten put into the program of DUI treatment court, which I'm highly grateful for, because if it wasn't for Judge Geishauser and my PO, Alexandra, I probably wouldn't be where I am today, as well as going into the YMCA, which is what they helped me get into. I lasted 5.5 months there, and then I went into BCC Transitional Housing Program, where I then was able to get my kids back after 2.5 years of fighting and crying and, going through the trials and tribulations of everything just to get them back. I made it 7 months in the transitional housing program. Thank you to Lisa. If it wasn't for her being on my side, I honestly don't know where I would be. I went from the transitional housing program to permanent housing, where I am now. And if it wasn't for everything that was, I guess, earned from me, but also given to me through everything that I guess we're here for now today, I wouldn't be able to do what I can for my kids. I've longed for so long to wake up and be able to take my kids to school and get them dressed and get them ready and be able to just do my due diligence as a mother and be able to come from what I've come from. And I'm very grateful to be able to say that I'm sober today and I have my head on straight for all of the help that was given to me. And that's all I have. Thank you.
So before the next person speaks, Kayla, I think it's so important. I appreciate that you recognized the different people that have impacted your life. One of the individuals you recognized is a probation officer. And so often people look at either juvenile probation or adult probation as just these enforcers. And to a degree, they have to do that, but they are there to help people. And to the extent that you were willing, and don't forget that, all the people helped you, but if you didn't acknowledge that you had a problem and you needed help, you'd still be back in that very dark period. So hang on, keep doing the right things, and Lord willing, you'll continue to have good people in your life. So thank you. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Kim Carlance. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator with Easy Does It. I just really wanted to say thank you again for all your support, with our housing facility that we have up in Leesport, where we house 50 people in recovery, which I want to keep this week because I'd really love everybody to share their story. And also even your support, again, like at the recovery walk and coming up to Sober Stock every year. So next 2 Saturdays, we're busy, huh? Walk, sober stock. That's from 1 to 4, right up at Easy Does It. So you can come see the beautiful campus that we have up there. And again, thank you so much. Unfortunately, our executive director, Scott Althouse, was unable to join us today. So he did also want to put forward his gratitude for all the help that you guys do for us. And I'd like to introduce Carl Metzger.
Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Carl Metzger, and I reside at Easy Does It. And heard of Easy Does It. I was at Camp Joy. Got a couple of people here that, they're good, very good people. Where to start? I just want to thank you all for everything you've done. I've been a resident of Berks County for a little over 50 years now, and I'm gainfully employed as a electro mechanical technician at Ashley Furniture. And my life was really, really, really bad. My addiction started off with alcohol. In 2006, I lost a son in a car accident, and I noticed with a lot of people in recovery, that's where a loss of a loved one really starts. It hits them, knocks them right out. And what I have found is people like to trudge through that mire of depression, darkness, isolation. Well, fortunately, there is hope. And the hope begins with people like you, with your fundage, places like Camp Joy, Easy Does It, Task. They all do a lot. They help people get up, get out, get healthy. These programs, they save lives, and they give individuals an opportunity to change their life. And that's where I'm at today. August 29th, I celebrated 2 years of recovery. So you all have a nice day, and thank you so very much.
Congratulations.
Sorry, Carl, I gotta raise it up. I'm Ryan Herrera. I'm the social executive director of social services at the YMCA of Reading. I've worked at the Y for 14 plus years. So I've been to a lot of these meetings and things like that.
Just, Judge, please come up and sit next to our COO. Sorry to interrupt there, but
Judge, do you want the mic?
Judge Geishauser and Judge Johnson have been very, very involved in the treatment courts, more so than nothing against any other judges. But in the time that I've been here, you've been very, very engaged, and I appreciate that.
That we have for all 4 of our treatment courts. I would put our teams up against any teams across this Commonwealth. And I love treatment court. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I feel very blessed to be a part of the journey of so many wonderful people.
In the simplest terms, treatment court is about 2 things. One, diverting people from the jail and the traditional criminal justice system that are fundamentally nonviolent, and 2, getting them the treatment they need. The key is, and Kayla, I'd said that before you came in, Judge, is the individuals have to be willing. We can't force somebody to change. If you've ever tried that, it doesn't work. So, Judge, this is an important aspect to our community, to the individuals whose lives are changed. but it also is a significant financial savings to the county, because when you incarcerate someone, every aspect of their incarceration is borne by Berks County taxpayers. We don't get state or federal funding for the county jail. County jail is probably close to $50 million, $42 million a year. I was close, off $1 million here or there. $42 million. I looked at our chair of our prison board. I knew he would know. $42 million a year, though, out of county property taxes to fund that jail. When we have fewer people in the jail, we save money. So. Mm-hmm.
Significantly less than the national averages. So not only are we saving money now with beds in the prison, we are saving dollars for the future by having individuals really addressing their needs and not having them reoffend.
And they're becoming important parts of a community, employees, taxpayers. That's significant. And I don't want people to miss that. Often some people will just hear, okay, they don't have to go to jail. So what's the long-term benefit? There are a lot of long-term benefits in doing this the right way versus the way many communities have handled these issues through the decades.
Going to jail will be a lot easier than seeing the real.
And there's truth to that. Not that jail is easy, but everything's set for you. You don't have to make a whole lot of decisions when you're in jail. They're made for you. So sorry for the interruption.
No, I would want to be interrupted by no one else. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
So go ahead, Ryan, introduce yourself again and go ahead and get started there.
All right, I'm Ryan Herrera, the Executive Director of Social Services at the Ymca in Reading. We have Camp Joy, which is a location that we're actually about to come up on 8 years in October of that program being open. That's a 20-bed facility for men who are involved in the Berks County criminal justice system. Located up near the prison conveniently. And the other facility we have is obviously our downtown facility, the Ymca. We have around 75 beds down there, men, women, various different, serving different populations and such. I've worked at the Y for about 13 years. I've been at several of these meetings. And I'll personally say, always a little suspect of, politicians and what they say, you know what I mean? It's, do you walk the walk and talk the talk? And I remember when there was an article in the paper about Berks County spending more money on treatment than any other county in Pennsylvania, and it was a negative article, kind of asking like, why is this happening? Why are we doing this? And I can't remember what commissioner it was. Maybe it was Commissioner Barnhart. I'm not exactly sure. But the answer was, why isn't everyone else spending this money, right? And that's when I was like, all right, these guys get it. You know what I mean? They get it. And like everyone else has said, you are out at the recovery walk, not just 1 year. Basically, every year that we've had it, you've been there. You've been up at Camp Joy. You guys are within the community and within the recovery community. And what I will say is kind of to shadow what Judge Geishauser said, the system and the what we have in Berks County, if it could honestly become a national model, we would strike down addiction number so much, because we have task. You can walk in, right, with no insurance and get treatment that day. That's almost unheard of anywhere. We have Easy Does It. We have the Ymca, which are great facilities who they ask a lot of the residents. They're not just walking in and getting to bed and 3 hot meals. We ask a lot of them. Places like that don't exist in almost anywhere else in the country. And then we have treatment court, the judges, probation, who also is not an adversarial person, right? They come to the same drug and alcohol trainings we do, and that's a step ahead of a lot of other probation departments within the Commonwealth and across the country. And then on top of that, we have a district attorney who understands that arresting people is not the way out of addiction. And all of these things combined if nationally that could happen, we would be able to make tremendous strides. But unfortunately, that's not where we stand. We don't have the commissioners who have the foresight and the ability to do some of these things and defend the choices that you make, and know enough about addiction to be able to defend the choices to people who don't understand it. So I'll get off my soapbox. And congratulations, Kathy, staying on retirement. So we have three people coming up. They'll keep it real brief. We have a graduate of Camp Joy who now lives in our sober living facility at the YMCA. So we have Serenity Hall, which is a program. It's not a program, it's just a sober living floor for people after they complete a program, if they still want to stay in a sober living environment. And then we have Donna, who might still be a little bit mad at me last night. We had a game night at the Y last night for Recovery Month, and it didn't go her way. And then we have Donald from the YMCA. So I'll let them come up and introduce themselves.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Colin Jordan. I'm a person in long-term recovery, and I owe that fact almost entirely to the Camp Joy facility. Somebody asked me to come up here and say a few words with almost no direction or instruction, and that was a decision on somebody's part. But at the very least, that means that, any talking points that I do have were not given to me by anybody. They're just what I picked up in my time in recovery, and they come directly from me. And I'll try to keep it as much as I can on Camp Joy, but just in general, like, it doesn't. Nobody in this room needs to hear it from me, but it can't be said enough that, just like you said, the efforts in Berks County for treatment rather than incarceration have the benefits just have no end. Like you mentioned, the cost ends up being far, far less. The overall, it ends up being far, far more effective in the long run, and that's that's true for no small number of people. But I'm here to talk about myself and Camp Joy. And Camp Joy is just an incredible facility, and that's about how it goes for me.
That was Stan the man.
Stan has left.
leaning against the light switch. You're going to get retired early if you do that too many times.
First and foremost, from Camp Joy, my life was impacted by the staff up there. Every single person up there, I believe, is doing that job when they have, based on their talent, many other things they could be doing in life, but they choose to be there. Whenever there's another meeting to fund all endeavors Ryan Herrera, let me know and I'll come back. I'll speak at that one as well. Just having a place to, try to piece, to get help when my life had not been going very well, living it to my own devices really turned everything around for me. One of the first things people told me in recovery is that, I had to change my environment, and having a place that located where Camp Joy is at, it was phenomenal. Was a tremendous help for me. And having, the structure and the accountability of people who not just, read off a piece of paper that say you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do the other thing, really cared about, my progress as a person and in recovery, and, asked me, what I was doing and what I was up to, because they cared about what happened to me, was enormous. And, at different times, being a person in long-term recovery, that of course means, maybe not of course, but means that, that I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. And because of the people at points in my life, I had what sometimes seemed grandiose dreams of sitting on the other side of the table at meetings like this. And now in the, the YouTube, the Facebook, the Microsoft Zoom world, now that statement is out there. But, being in recovery, people tell me that, a man does the next right thing, and then you live with the consequences. And the best thing I can do today is to speak up, in favor of places like Camp Joy and like the Y and like treatment court and like everything that that this county does, for people, because they're cheaper, they're more effective, but they're the right thing to do. And, in this world, sometimes that's hard to come by. So I'm not going to take up any more time other than to express my thanks for everything that everybody does.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Donna Floyd. This is my first time coming to the YMCA. It's first time being in Reading. And I think if it wasn't for the YMCA, I don't know where I would be. I haven't been in jail, thank God. But my addiction made me lose myself. And my daughter made me come to Reading and find myself, which I'm so grateful for. I'm grateful for all the ladies and men in the YMCA. They have a good atmosphere. They're loving, they're caring. And it's like, I'm just grateful for being able to go to the rooms, go to the programs, go to everything. I'm new at it, but I do plan on coming back every chance I get. And I'm grateful for my sales workers. Well, everybody. I'm grateful for you. So thanks for letting me share.
Thank you.
Everybody, my name's Don Meck. I've been at the Y now for about 4 months. This is my second time at the Y. I'm grateful that the Y understands relapse because that is a big part of addiction, sad to say. But, I work with another agency. I'm in the methadone program. And, a lot of this, I fought to get into rehab this last time. And it took me a few weeks to get that accomplished. The fact that, I turn 70 next year has a big thing in my life of, it's time to grow up, and I'm sad that it took that long, but, at least I didn't give up. And, I thank the Y for accepting me back into the program. Gary Matthews, he is awesome. He is one of the best people I've ran into since, being involved in recovery. All the staff that I'm involved with there, with Lola and Dan, they're just excellent. And, I just want to express my appreciation for being allowed to come back in the program. And I thank you all very much.
So just in summary, we are just a small reflection of the greater Berks County. Latest statistics tells us that there are more than 33,000 people living in long-term recovery in Berks County, and we're just a small representation of that. But if you can imagine that gratitude growing by those numbers, we couldn't fit that gratitude even in this nation. So once again, from our hearts to yours, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Colleagues?
Sure, I'd like to congratulate Kathy on your promotion and Stan in your retirement. Especially to the staff at the YMCA, the staff at Easy Does It, the staff at COCA, what you do 365 days a year. It's not Monday through Friday, it's 65 days a year. I really commend you for that. Kayla, Carl, Donald, Donna, Don, thank you for your stories and your insight, and keep up the good work on your road to recovery. It's always, as Commissioner Weinbach pointed out in the beginning, it's the most powerful and impactful meeting we have every year to see where our investment, county tax dollar investment, goes and serves the community. I beam with pride each and every time someone talks about Camp Joy. 9 years ago, I was approached by George Vogel and he said, "Hey, Commissioner, I need a place for long-term recovery beds. Do you have any place?" Well, yeah, we have an underutilized facility called Camp Joy that was used probably 2
Actually,
weeks.
zero utilized.
I think
at the
2
time.
weeks this summer, I think a group used it, but it was very underutilized, and spoke to Commissioner Weinbach, Commissioner Scott, and thought it was a great idea. Use some federal and state money to rehabilitate the facility. And today it houses 20 folks in long-term recovery. And that really is a adaptive reuse of something what the county wasn't fully utilizing. And it's just a beautiful bucolic area for people to just relax and think about their lives and really put that facility to good use. So every time you talk about that, I think, boy, those the days of George and I walking through the woods and, hey, what would you do with these outbuildings? What would you do with this? And it's really commendable that the YMCA staffs it and COCA oversees that. And hundreds of people have gone through that. It's just an amazing place, as well as every other place in the community that helps folks in long-term recovery. So thank you to everyone, and God bless you.
I want to thank Stan for your many years at COCA, and Kathy, welcome. She's been there many years as well. I'm familiar with Camp Joy, but not from being here when that happened, but I was rather on the board at COCA when that happened. So I've served on the board of COCA for many years. My wife worked at COCA for many years as well, so I'm very familiar with the work that COCA does, and I want to thank them for everything that they do. Also, COCA, sorry, this always happens to me. COCA also helped one of my cousins as well, who has now been 5 years in recovery. And he works with that at-risk youth. So been a great opportunity working with COCA. I thank you for the work you do for the other organizations here as well. Thank you for what you do. Something that I always share as well, and it's always hard for me to get through this part, not because I'm a, goodness, sorry, not because I'm ashamed, but because of joy. My father was an addict in his teens and in his early 20s as well. He's from Puerto Rico, and he was sent up from Puerto Rico to Teen Challenge in Raresburg. And actually, that's where he met my mother. So
that's where he became a Dutch Rican. His mother is Pennsylvania Dutch, and his father's Puerto Rican.
That is correct.
And you wouldn't be here otherwise.
And I wouldn't be here otherwise. So I'm very grateful to Teen Challenge and all the organizations that work and that provide these programs. Looking back, one thing that I wish my father would have done a lot more is share his story, because he had a great story. But looking back and remembering my conversations with him, he was actually many times ashamed as to what he had done with his teens and his early 20s. But now looking back, I think, why didn't he share that? Sorry. So something that I ask you is, if you are in recovery, please share that story. Share with others what you have gone through and what they can accomplish as well, just like you have done as well. So thank you. As hopefully I'll be able to get through this the next time without. But thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. I mean, that's what you just did, encouraging everyone else to share theirs. Camp Joy is what I wrote down as well. Here's what I remember about Camp Joy. We both came in 2008, and it was early in 2008 we were told, well, Camp Joy's restrooms can't be used. We need, I think it was $50,000 to repair the restrooms. The pool was shot, and we're figuring out, what do we do with this? And it was underutilized to maybe not even being used at all. And it's out behind the Berks. A lot of people don't know where it is. And years prior, church groups, other nonprofits would rent the camp. They would have a summer camp for a week. They would have camp programs. And we just didn't know what to do with it. And you're exactly right. I remember you came to the commissioner and said, hey, George and I just took a walk at Camp Joy. We have an idea. And it's amazing. That facility has been used now, is it 8 or 9 years?
8 years, if not longer.
8 or 9 years. consistently year-round to help change lives. And I appreciate the story. Not everybody takes on the first time around. And I share this with people all the time. Sometimes people like myself that have not had to face those same challenges personally say, well, how many chances do you want? And people have heard me say this. In my life, people have given me second, third, fourth, fifth chances. That's what life is about. We make mistakes. And I just am thrilled to hear your stories. So this Saturday, we have the recovery walk. I'm doing something different. So be ready. Yvonne knows this. Kathy, you need to be ready. Each of the commissioners do a monthly program called County Connection. I just did one on Monday dealing with the election and preparing for the election, but I'm recording my October program on Saturday at the recovery walk. Going to be doing some interviews with Yvonne. I think Yvonne has 2 or 3 interviews set up with people in recovery. I'll be interviewing Kathy Knoll. Really looking forward to that. I will try to get to sober stock. The next 3 Saturdays, I have so many things going on at the exact same time. I did respond to Scott. I'm going to try. I can't guarantee, but sober stock, for those that don't know, and most likely it's people watching, not people in the audience, it's a great concert, rock bands without alcohol and drugs. You don't, and sober stock is about celebrating and having a great time and realizing you don't need these other things that in the end destroy people to have a good time. So sober stock up at Easy Does It, always a great, great time. And again, that is Saturday, September the 24th. What time does it start? 1 to 4, Saturday, September 24th. So that is a great opportunity. And we kick off the walk. The program is at 10. And then about 10:15, we start walking from the RAC parking lot over to West Reading. It's going to be interesting because Anne Marie Grill is going to be back and she's going to be walking backwards filming. I told her she might need somebody helping her to make sure she doesn't walk over the edge of the bridge or something.
Barbara help her.
Barbara can help her. There you go. But again, Kevin said it. I look forward to this event more than anyone other meeting, because so often what we hear in government is negative for a lot of different reasons. We don't need to get into that. But to hear your stories, your personal stories, not somebody else telling your story, but you telling your story and doing it in a frank and honest way, there's nothing more powerful than hearing that. So thank you very much. So we will continue with the meeting. The meeting isn't going to take long, so if you want to stick around, you can. We're going to actually handle the meeting with a full motion. But before we do that, are there any additions or corrections for the September 8th Commissioner meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. We did have an executive session yesterday dealing with personnel, litigation, and real estate. At this time, I'll recognize Barbara Lopez to read the policy on public comment.
Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used, Teams Q&A, Facebook, and YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
Thank you very much, Barbara. I just checked to see if there are any public comments on agenda items. There are none, but Scott Aldhouse was watching from Easy Does It, and he says, "Thank you, Chairman Leinbach, Commissioner Barnhart, Commissioner Rivera. I'm sorry I cannot be there in person today, but I salute the county's support for recovery, housing, and support services." With that, we'll go to the agenda.
For the sake of brevity, I will move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. Item 2 is a motion to authorize execution of contract agreements and amendments as set forth on the attached listing dated September 12th of 2002. There are 8 contracts, 1 with Career Link, 3 with Children and Youth Services, 1 with the Department of Emergency Services, 1 with Facilities and Operations, 1 with Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities, and 1 with the Berks High. And then item 3 was a motion to authorize execution of payments and electronic transfers. We approved both of those, but I wanted to go over the contracts so you know which ones we have. With that, we'll move to our county treasurer, and in his absence, we have the deputy, Linda Weaver.
Good morning.
Good morning, Linda.
We have an opening balance of $241,879,305.72. We have a balance to clear of $9,216,182.69, leaving us with a balance of $232,663,123.03.
Thank you very much. And we'll move now to our county controller. And in her absence, we have Grozna Nikio. Grozna.
Yes, good morning, commissioners. Last minute change. Sandy was having some technical difficulties to log in. Total disbursements for the week ending September 15th were $16,043,959.86. And it included accounts payable in the amount of $11,504,602.64. And we also had payroll, and combined payroll was $4,539,357.22.
Thank you very much. We'll move now to our Chief Operations Officer, Ron Seaman.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd just briefly like to call attention to a special event this Sunday, September the 18th, at the Berks County Heritage Center, which is off Route 183 behind the Penn State St. Joseph Hospital. And that's a open house of the Milker's Grist Mill. This was moved from the farm where it was located in, I believe, Bali to the Heritage Center. And other than the stream and the water wheel, it's a completely intact grist mill. And from 12 to 4, they're holding an open house. It's a free event, so come out and enjoy your parks.
Thank you very much. And with that, we'll move to county commissioners. We'll begin with Commissioner Rivera.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. I just want to go over some events that are coming up this week and next week. We already went over 2, but one also today, September 15th, starts National Hispanic Heritage Month, which runs through October 15th. And there will be an opening reception today at the Goggle Works on the 4th floor, on the 4th floor gallery. And there is an exhibition, a photo exhibition called Las Caras, which is the Faces Hispanic Heritage Month exhibition. Today it starts at 5:30, and there'll be an ice cream and social and music from 5:45 to 6:10, and then at 6:10 there'll be the presentation of elected officials and members of RISE and then a photo tour after that. So if you're available today at 5:30, please join us on the 4th floor gallery at the Goggle Works. Also on this Tuesday, trying to find it here, various months ago, our planning commission started the update of the county's Greenway Park and Recreation Plan. There were surveys sent out, there were conversations had with different stakeholders and groups. And this Tuesday, September 20th, from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Berks County Agricultural Center, they will have a presentation of how the plan was developed, what they have so far, and also they will solicit any final comments on the plan, any recommendations that you have. So if you're able to get there at 4 o'clock, great. If you can't get there till 5 or 5:30, please do so as well. You'll be able to speak with the Planning Commission staff and learn more about the plan and provide any input that you may have on what the recommendations for the update are. Also, this Sunday the 18th, there is the Puerto Rican parade, which starts at 12 p.m. At actually 11 a.m. is the parade. Then at 12 p.m. is the festival, 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the 400 and 500 blocks of Penn Street. We will be walking in the parade, so please come out and support the parade, have some fun, and there'll be food and music and a lot of other things on Sunday here. Just trying to go through these in reference to the date. Also next, on Saturday the 24th, there's the Guts and Glory Wellness Expo from 10 to 3 p.m. at Penn State Berks Perkins Plaza Event Lawn. That's behind the Target and Ymca. There'll be more information there. You can visit mygutinstinct.org or find their Facebook page for Guts and Glory Wellness Expo 2020, again, next Saturday from 10 to 3 p.m. And also next Saturday is not next Saturday, but on the 24th is the 3rd annual Berks Cultural Diversity Festival, which is at City Park from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And there'll be international culture, cuisine, dance, poetry, music, performances, games, vendors, a whole lot more. And that's Saturday the 24th from 1 to 7 p.m. And I will be speaking there a little bit as well. So a lot of things going on in the next few weeks. So please make sure you get out and enjoy what Berks County has to offer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rivera. Commissioner Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Weinbach. 11 a.m. this morning, we will have an in-person and Microsoft Teams election board meeting. Coupled with that, staff will be having 3 meetings today and 1 tomorrow to gear up for the November 8th election. A lot of activity, a lot of planning goes into conducting an election, so staff is all ahead full in that regard. This afternoon at 1 o'clock here in person, we have our Berks County Correctional Facility Steering Committee meeting. It's open to the public. And next Thursday, same room, 5:30 in the evening, we will have our town hall to discuss the status of the correctional facility and what the steering committee has been working on diligently since the beginning of the year with CGL. That is open to the public. It's also virtual. It'll be about an hour meeting to give status update on what's taking place with our correctional facility. I will be at the Coca Walk on the recovery walk on Saturday. I'll try to stay way in the back so I don't get filmed, or maybe I can haul Anne Marie around in a wagon or something so she doesn't trip and fall across the Penn Street Bridge.
Photobomb
Yeah, that's more likely what will happen. They'll photobomb the whole program.
That's certainly always an enjoyable and entertaining experience. We are announcing, going to continue to announce our on-the-road meeting. We decided last year to start a quarterly meeting in the community. Our next one will be September 29th. It's a Thursday at Birdsboro Borough Hall at 7 p.m. So the meeting won't be taking place here at 10 a.m. on that date, but we will be going to Birdsboro on September 29th at 7 p.m. so the folks in that area, the county, can enjoy the frivolity of the county commissioners. And last but not least, Ron referenced activities at the Heritage Center. We also have tickets available for Epler's Schoolhouse Pulled Pork Dinner, which is October 6th on Thursday from 3 to 6 p.m. All monies raised go toward the renovation and restoration of Epler's one-room schoolhouse. And it's only $10, so they kept the price very reasonable in these high inflationary times. So anyone like to have a ticket, I have them available in my office. So great opportunity. They've done a tremendous job of restoring that. If you haven't been out to the Heritage Center, they're there every Saturday from 10 to 4, open house. They are now in the process of completing the renovation of the floor, but the roof has been replaced. Back windows have been placed in the back of the building. Everything is really going all ahead full, and they really do need your support to make this thing happen. Jane Getz and her team, really hats off to them for what they've done and be able to accomplish with saving the Epler's one-room schoolhouse. So again, fundraiser October 6th, 3 to 6. I have tickets available after the meeting. Thank you.
It just may mention Epler's is maintained by a nonprofit, not by the county. The volunteers that take people on tours and explain it are volunteers through the nonprofit, and Jane Getz has done an amazing job.
They logged 600 visitors last year from states and other countries. They had people come from Australia, assuming they were in town to visit relatives, but they actually came and toured the school. So it's great. It's a great place in Berks County history. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Real quickly, this morning I was able to participate in a visit by the Pennsylvania Secretary of Education, Cardona, at the Reading Area Community College. Many people don't know, but the county is the sole sponsor of the Reading Area Community College. This afternoon at 3 p.m., I will be at the farm of Ed and Diane Hartman, Scattered Acres Farm over in Sinking Spring, and Secretary Russ Redding, the Secretary of Ag, will be attending that event. Russ is a fascinating guy. I've known him before I was a commissioner, but he has served both Republican and Democratic administrations in the arena of agriculture, and has been a great friend to Berks County. Looking forward to seeing him this afternoon. That is all I have. Any row officer comments? Hearing none, you go ahead. Yes, Sandy.
I'm sorry I was having internet problems. Grosna, as usual, jumps in at the last minute and takes care of our department. I so much appreciate my chief deputy, and I wanted to say that to everybody.
Thank you, Sandy. We have one in-person comment. Adrian Jadick, why am missing? If you want to step up to the microphone, and you're familiar with this, but 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's why I wrote it. I want to speak today about waste, bring this to your attention. Haulers around Berks have increased their prices considerably, and I think it is incumbent upon our elected officials to take notice and take action wherever possible. Number one, with such high prices, there is a need for audits. Unlike with any other utility, trash and recycling has received a lot of bad press, resulting in a widespread distrust. Residents deserve to be assured that the money they spend on haulers, and mainly on recycling contractors, is well spent. Haulers justify high prices by multi-million-dollar investments in complex machines. However, we simply don't know if these machines truly have the capacity to service all the communities they contract with. And most importantly, we don't know what happens downstream with assorted materials. Are they really reused, or do they end up in landfills in other states or Lord knows where? We just don't know. Number two, I know this is not your direct responsibility, but I hope you can help bring change in the billing practices. Currently, trash is mainly billed as a flat fee. When prices rise as they do, that fee is not a fee anymore. It becomes a rate. $5 is a fee. Having to pay $500 per year independently of how much trash you put out, it becomes an issue. Many residents will hurt. Plus, there is no incentive for people who compost or buy bulk. With the current system, they are punished instead of being rewarded. There's a multitude of ways to meter the waste. Communities around the world have used this for decades with great success. All we need is to accept the fact that we need to do something about it. I have heard ill-informed comparisons with how we pay for emergency services, or even with the way we pay for educating our children. Waste removal is a utility which can and should be metered. Thank you so much. I hope I'm good.
Thank you, Adrian. I do want to recognize Cody Kaufman. He is going to respond to a comment from actually last week.
That is correct. And good morning, commissioners. As you may recall, there was a comment last week from Mr. Dwight Wegman, who I believe is from Lower Heidelberg Township. I can read his comment and then I can respond briefly to it. Mr. Wegman's comment was as follows. 2 weeks ago, Commissioner Leinbach made a public comment regarding the requirement to use the electronic voting machines based on the court case Stein v. Cortez. Could the commissioners have the county solicitor provide a summary of the basis for this position based on this court case? I believe the Berks voting public wants a better understanding of this requirement. There are differing positions on this issue. For example, Lycoming County is placing a referendum question in the November ballot to remove the electronic machines. How can two counties operate under different understandings? Clearly, there is not a consensus across the Commonwealth on this issue. I am asking the commissioners to provide more clarity on the electronic voting machine requirement. Thank you. So in response, the 2018 settlement reached in the Stein v. Cortez matter required counties to implement voting systems that use a voter verifiable paper ballot for every voter. Additionally, as Commissioner Leinbach noted, previously the settlement also required the Secretary to implement a more robust pre-certification audit, and that's known as the risk limiting audit, and that has replaced the 2% audit, and it will be fully implemented for the November 2022 general election. The Stein settlement did not require the implementation of electronic voting systems per se, but it is a driving factor for why the Commonwealth was forced to review and implement new Commonwealth certified voting machines by the 2020 election. The Commonwealth alone has the legal right to certify voting systems and machines that counties may use. And lastly, it's important to note that the referenced Lycoming County referendum question earlier this week, Lycoming County rescinded that referendum question regarding electronic voting machines. County boards of elections cannot place non-binding referendums on the ballot, and the requirement of the Help America Vote Act, HAVA, which is a federal law, does preempt the election code in this regard.
Thank you.
I'm going to reference back to Mr. Jadig's comments. I would, if you're okay, I'd refer him to Jane Meeks for some follow-up with
for solid waste
and rates that are charged across the county. I think that's your natural and best first step to have a discussion with Jane.
Yeah. Historically, it's a municipal issue,
right?
But the Solid Waste Authority oversees the overall policy as it relates to landfills and solid waste.
Should be a great source for you.
So, okay. Anything else?
Motion to adjourn.
Meeting is adjourned. Yeah.